Joaquin Niemann wins for the 5th time on the Live Golf Tour. And I don't know how many starts they've had. Is it 9 at this point? Probably, maybe 10. So he's won half the time virtually.
He has, and this is again a stat. Sean Lowry is our guy who sends me live stats every week.
I love that you get live stats every week from.
It's so good.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Sadiq Bey come off the bench. Alvarado missed a lot of time. Jordan Hawkins has had his moments. So and remember, they picked out even a guy like Kevon Looney off the bench. So to me, they could be there. You know what? And it's crazy because last year I was so big on them, and now I'm off of them. But I'm going to say it. Fly Pelican. 7-1. Fly Pelican. Fly Pelican fly. 7-1. What's the...
Here's why JY is great. Because sometimes I almost, it's tough when I sell JY, because now what will happen is, right? I mean, listen, it's the middle of the summer. You know what I mean? And what's going to happen in 2 months from now, JY's going to go, now listen, me and K-Dub love these Pelicans. I'm like, when did I say that? I don't remember that one. Okay,
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I drafted Aaron Jones in my Dynasty League, but he's like my 4th running back, to let you know that people don't really believe in him. And by the way, when you play in a Dynasty League, I always play to win this year. I don't worry about next year. I want to win now. Flags fly forever. I'll worry about next year. So, but I got Aaron Jones last year, 1138. So he's going to drop that down by almost 50%, not to get this total here. Yeah, I think he gets, I'll take the over.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's Wednesday, and the place to be right here, right now, is on the early line on the SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. It's Donnie Rightside, and it's Joe Ranieri, and the usual suspects here. 2 hours, action-packed, all the hottest topics that you certainly can handle. And my goodness, did we see them in Major League Baseball? A returning king came back. Really help out the Yankees too much. We'll get to that. Shedeur Sanders updates. He's actually going to get a start in week number 1 of the preseason for the Cleveland Browns. A lot of hot topics to get through and 2 hours to get through them today, Joe. How are we feeling? How's the energy? Are we good to go?
I'm excited, Donnie. We are 24 hours away from the rest of the NFL getting some preseason football in, and boy, oh boy, every day just rip it off the calendar because we're getting that much closer to college and NFL, and I love it.
It is fantastic. Let's get to the 7 and 7 topics, the hottest topics across the sports landscape. And talking about looking for football here and waiting for football. Maybe Devin Williams is like, man, get the Giants and the Jets out here. I'm blowing games every single day. At least they can talk about something else. Why? The Yankees lost yesterday. Are we surprised? Not necessarily. Nathan Eovaldi's good pitcher here, Joe. 8 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs. The Yankees are shut out. Aaron Judge came back. The Yankees sinking further and further down in the AL East and the wild card standings. 2-0 Texas last night. When will the losing streak end for the Yanks?
Well, it seems to be one of these seasons, Donnie, where they're either going to lose 8 or 9 straight, and then they're going to win 11 or 12 straight. There is no in-between with these teams. It is all about ridiculous losing streaks and unsustainable winning streaks with them. But they better be careful, because if they don't time it right, before you know it, there won't be any Yankee postseason baseball this year. And last night was prime example, number 1 of you get Judge back. You guys were hitting better without Judge in a lineup than what you showed up and did last night. And oh, by the way, kudos to Will Warren going toe-to-toe. But, I mean, how many more times are you rolling out Devin Williams? Just curious. How many times? And what is Judge's home run prop tonight? I'm just curious here, Donnie.
Yeah, they made a lot of money last night. And you're right. Hey, let's hide Devin Williams in like the bottom of the 5th inning. We can use him there. Like, it doesn't matter. He gives up hits no matter if he's closing 8th inning. It does not matter at this point. Now let's get to another hot topic here. It's the Dallas Cowboys. You might have tuned in yesterday to the show, Joe, and said, you know what? Donnie and Joe are doing a pretty good thing here with, we got videos here, Jerry Jones, it's Micah Parsons. Yesterday, Jerry was on camera again, which he loves to be. And they asked him if he was like, you think Micah Parsons is going to be there for game number 1? He optimistic. He said, no, absolutely not. He's a decision maker. It's not like he has to go, I got to ask my bosses and so long. He knows what the price is going to be. Him saying absolutely not and then saying, well, part of it's his decision, and how would I know that? You're the owner. You write the check. He comes to play. Come on, Dallas Cowboys. Stop the circus.
And he literally tells everyone that he hasn't spoken with Micah Parsons since the trade request. He's not confident whatsoever. So I guess that means the negotiations aren't going well, Jerry. Is that basically what you're telling us? I don't know what to believe anymore with this team and Jerry Jones. Half the time, I don't even think he remembers if he talked to Micah Parsons or not, Donnie, if we're being honest.
The deal should be done by now. There's no reason. And if they're just fighting over money, that's not an issue. He's going to make more than anybody else. But my goodness, from a content perspective, day to day, put that microphone in Jerry's face. And how long is it before Micah Parsons picks up and leaves Oxnard and just goes on like the LeBron James podcast, and away we go into the regular season? But we're not into the regular season yet. It's still the preseason. There's time to get Micah Parsons back. But let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders will be the starter in the preseason opener for the Cleveland Browns. I'm not reading too much into this, but the kid feels like he's playing for his job at this point, no? Which he should be.
Wasn't he just the fourth? He was listed on the depth chart as the fourth quarterback 24 hours ago, but the injuries have certainly taken their toll. And let's be honest here. Are you really rolling out a 50-year-old Joe Flacco out there? And what happens to him? Now, all of a sudden, you've got nobody that can actually start the regular season. So, good. I hope he shines. I really, really do. I think given the opportunity, I think we might be impressed here tonight. Especially, aren't some of the starters playing here for the Colts as well? So it should be a pretty fun one, I think.
Roll them out, people. See what happens. Also, understand this. We are going to get some suspensions here. We're rating maybe Rashee Rice also from the Kansas City Chiefs. But right now, the NFL came down on Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison. He got a 3-game suspension. He's out the first 3 games of the season, can still practice with this team. The interesting part about this is how it's worded here. Pleaded down, no contest, July 17th, gets the penalty here, but it is for violating the league's substance abuse policy, which you usually figure that's like marijuana or hard drugs, but I guess it's alcohol is included in that as well. So DUI kicks him out for 3 games.
I mean, some of these guys are just their own worst enemies, Donnie, and we see it every year here. And not to mention, you have a rookie quarterback that's going to be starting this season. And unfortunately, he's going to have one less weapon now for 3 games because, well, the guy can't stay out of trouble. It's amazing to me.
But by the way, the NFL, if anybody doesn't know, every single player has in their phone a telephone number wherever they are at in the United States and probably around the world, where they type that in and say, I'm at this club, I need to be picked up. And like a Range Rover comes out of nowhere, picks them up and drives them home safely. But you know what, Joe, I hear so many times, if I use that number, there's probably a track on it, and they know I'm out drinking the club at night. Are you kidding me? Just use that service and never have an issue again. Joe, you want to go to the mall, you can call that number, and they can pick you up and take you home. Unbelievable stuff from NFL players, but they'd rather go out and create some havoc out here. Free agent Keenan Allen reaches a deal with the Chargers. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, Keenan Allen. I like this move. Mike Williams down, Keenan Allen comes back.
Yeah, and I believe he's got some records in sight, too. I think he's just about 52 receptions, a little over 1,300 yards away from passing former Charger and now, of course, Hall of Famer Antonio Gates for the franchise record in both of those categories. At 33 years old, listen, is he the same guy he was 5 years ago? No, but he is absolutely somebody that can help this team really try to get past what they have not been able to get past with Justin Herbert, and that's maybe an AFC championship.
Yeah, Ladd McConkey, they're certainly going to get that veteran presence now. Love to see that happen. And by the way, we talked yesterday a lot about a guy named Cook, James Cook, in Buffalo. He wants his money. How about this, though? Kyron Williams got his money, Joe. 3 years, $33 million, 23 guaranteed. You think that James Cook's coming to practice today, seeing that? Man, he wants his money, too.
It's unfortunate, the timing of this, but kudos to Kyron Williams. It's a great story for the Rams, and this guy is going to be around for a while, and I love what the Rams organization is doing. We stuck a fork in them. Let's not forget, once Aaron Donald retired, we're like, this team's done. Is he even coming back? Yeah, no, they're heading in the right direction.
Going viral is usually really good for a sport. The WNBA, they can use all the clips they can get, put themselves out in front of the people here, but maybe not for the viral clips that are getting now. Another quote-unquote toy, Joe, was thrown on the court last night. Does the WNBA have an epidemic right now of toys on the courts?
And I'm starting to think that maybe these people just like sneaking those toys in. I'm not quite sure where you hide that, Donnie, but I'm just saying that's got to be part of the fun for these people.
I'm telling you right now, if you put that, like, there's copycats all over the place, right? So when you put that up and people get laughs at that, and now, betting on stuff like that and going viral, it's interesting. Hey, WNBA, take it or leave it, right? It is what it is. We're going to talk Aaron Judge next right here on the early line.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Oh, boy, last night, everything's going to be okay, Joe Ranieri. Everything's going to be just fine. The Yankees have been struggling, but we've been waiting for our MVP to come back into the lineup, and that MVP is Aaron Judge. Once he gets back, we're going to be okay. But once he got back, Nathan Eovaldi was on the mound for the Texas Rangers, and things didn't work out well. This wasn't a 9-8 loss where the offense was cruising, Joe. This was a 2-0 loss with Aaron Judge back in the lineup. We went 0 for 3 last night, struck out twice, and that batting average now drops down to .339. Things aren't clicking, to say the least, for the Yankees. And by the way, Not only did they not get a run last night, Joe, they only had 2 base hits in this game. The losing streak continues while everybody around them is winning. The Toronto Blue Jays, the Boston Red Sox. Let's start here. Aaron Judge came back last night, did not turn the corner for the Yankees. What are we doing here, New York Yankees? Can we snap out of it, or do changes have to be made?
Yeah, I don't think. Well, they will snap out of it at some point, Donnie. Let's be. They have been doing this all season long with the 6, these awful losing streaks, and it feels like they've been on a losing streak for quite some time now. But they also have these crazy winning streaks, and I get there's going to be a little adjustment period. You men out. You changed the dynamic in the locker room. You certainly changed the dynamic in the bullpen, but that's not working. That's completely obvious as to, demoting a guy you just traded for in Bird and then continuing to throw out Devin Williams, who continues to give up runs as a closer. It feels like it's an absolute mess. It's a sinking ship. And is Aaron Judge... Is that the only answer they have? Is he going to save them? I have my doubts here, Donnie.
I like about it too, like the Yankees are sinking right now. And part of the extra, bump you get in the MVP race, which we're going to talk about right now, is yes, teams winning down the stretch and making the playoffs should mean more than a team that's not going to make the playoffs. But we talked about Aaron Judge over the past couple of days, minus 200, minus 250, minus 280. Like I'm seeing like minus 320s now. So Judge came back. The Yankees were terrible and he was bad, but he increased his lead in the AL MVP race over Cal Raleigh yesterday. But if we talk about Aaron Judge, 0 for 3, 2 Ks, hit third. He was the DH. I assume he's going to be the DH moving forward. And yes, it was Nathan Eovaldi. It was like, man, he let up a bad pitcher on the mound, absolutely dominated them. But sooner than later, things have to pop up. That's a good-looking lineup on a night-to-night basis for the Yankees that isn't hitting. And you thought just by getting Aaron Judge back, he would sort of lift all those spirits in the locker room. Okay, the big guy's back here. Let's go out and handle business. And they didn't. And the longer this losing streak goes, the more questions are going to be asked to Aaron Boone are you going to be able to turn this thing around? And Aaron Boone answering those questions, what they should be saying is like, to turn this thing around, do they have to get rid of you, Aaron Boone?
I'm not a big believer. For what exactly? That's the big question, right? Okay, so you fire Aaron Boone, and who are you replacing him with in the New York market here? I don't think that's the answer. I think a lot of guys in that locker room, Donnie, better start looking at themselves in the mirror here, because there is no personal responsibility at all, it feels like, in that clubhouse. There's nobody stepping up. There's nobody going... Nobody's willing to do anything different. This team is a hot mess from the top on down, and there's just, to me, a total lack of leadership. And I love Judge, but there is a lack of leadership on this roster right now, and it shows. It's been showing all season long.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you expect the Yankees, like, again, we're not talking about the Yankees who started the season, was like, hey, man, we'll see what we get this year. This was a team that was in first place for a long time. And now you're not even dipping back and forth. Like, we'll talk about Phillies and the Mets a little bit later. It's like, okay, every other day we figure these two teams are going to change. Now, the Phillies do have a 2.5 game lead over the Mets now, but the expectation is the Mets can still catch them. I'm looking at the Yankees now, and we're going to ask some questions later in the show. Like, does this mean like the Yankees are not even going to make the playoffs? Like, this feels like unbelievable doom and gloom right now, Joe.
We mentioned it yesterday here on the show with Kevin Walsh, and I had asked, is it smarter just to look at the Yankees in the future markets as, and I don't know what the price is currently after last night's loss, but Yankees not to make the playoffs, yes or no? I would imagine, Donnie, you can probably still get a pretty good price on the no, because there is nothing redeeming about the way they're playing right now.
No, there's nothing redeeming. And you're hoping that Aaron Judge gets that power stroke back. They sort of pick on some teams of a lesser talent, if you will. But we also just saw them in Miami against a team with lesser talent not handle their business. Now they're in Texas getting beat up on a night-to-night basis. And again, looking at that MVP market, it is funny how it's sort of, things react. Like if Judge came back last night at his plus 190 price and hit a home run and the Yankees won, are you telling us he'd be minus 1,000 to win the MVP again? Like, he didn't do anything last night. His average has been dropping, but he's increasing that lead. It's up to Cal Raleigh and the Mariners to keep winning, but that's another story at this point. And also the home run market. The expectations for Aaron Judge coming back saying, hey, you know what, maybe I can't throw a baseball all that well, but it doesn't affect my swing. Do we still think that home run race is going to be able to chase down and say, maybe Aaron Judge can grab that? He's 6-1 now to win the home run race in Major League Baseball, Joe.
Listen, there's plenty of games left for individual statistics to go through the roof for Aaron Judge, right? I think we can all agree upon that. This is not the end-all, be-all for Aaron Judge. It might be for the Yankees' postseason hopes here, but Judge could absolutely, once again, ride the hot hand and have just a unbelievable rest of August into September. And he'll just clean up every award. He'll lead every category. That is who Aaron Judge is. Wouldn't shock me in any way, shape, or form.
You know what I do really like, though, is I like to panic a lot, and I like to sound those alarms. Like, the Yankees aren't playing good baseball. We have to understand this, too. It's not September 24th, and they're 5 or 6 games back. You are in the early parts of August. All it takes, Joe, you win tonight, you win 2 of 3, you win 4 of 6, you win 7 of 11, and hey, here come the Yankees, where it's inevitable that you're going to hit the ebbs and flows. The Red Sox aren't going to win every night. The Blue Jays aren't going to win every night. You'll be able to make amends. There's a lot of talent on that Yankees team, just not performing right now. But also, understand this. We'll handicap this game a little bit later, but Carlos Rodon, he's on the mound today. Overnight, Joe, minus 150s, minus 160s as a favorite towards the Yankees. Now in the marketplace, minus 130s, minus 135s. Nobody's believing in the Yankees. There's usually, Joe, that Yankee tax out here that no matter what, people love to bet the Yankees. Doesn't look like that's the case anymore right now, because why? The Yankees are going to actually have to prove it on the diamond to get back into the good graces of the people. We'll find out if they can handle their business. It's Jack Leiter on the mound. Come on, you had a good pitching performance yesterday. You held everybody scoreless until Devin Williams came in. Here's a hint for the Yankees, Joe Ranieri. Keep Devin Williams on the sideline, try to win a baseball game today. Let's flip it over to the NFL. Cincinnati's playing starters versus the Eagles. Find out next.
Can you handle the heat? If you don't mind the desert at the hottest, consider visiting Vegas in the summer, where the temperatures are high and the prices are low. Have fun! See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He comes back, and what we're talking about, mid-August at that point, and then he gets a couple more starts and they're ready for the postseason. So right now, I would say probably not an issue long-term. You know, obviously change the lines of what we're going to see today. I haven't seen the lines reopen, at least on the FanDuel Sportsbook. They're locked right now. So not an issue right now. As long as he comes back and he still has that plant leg and he's still strong with that, probably no worries for the Brewers right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. Let me say that again. Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. I mean, that's noteworthy, because Luka Doncic was seemingly traded away from Dallas because the Mavericks weren't sure if he was ever going to get in shape enough to deliver on his full potential.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I like Payton. I like Jeremy Payton. I think he's a nice player, but really, look at this offense. You're shocked that they win games 2-1. I mean, they're an under machine. Solid pitching, even though Hector Staff's on the injured list still. The bullpen's solid, and they can't hit a lick. They average what? It seems like they average 3 runs a game, but somehow they run off 10 in a row. They're 10 games under, and then they're 20 games over 500. How does this team do it? That's just in them, though.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
As Madonna said here, Joe Ranieri, get into the groove. Why are we going to do that in the preseason? Most starters sit out. There's no need to get into a groove. Get into the groove week number 1. You know, it hasn't worked for the past couple years, getting into a groove in week number 1. The Cincinnati Bengals. They're terrible out of the gate. So Zach Taylor, their head coach, says yesterday, and pretty much we've been hearing this for this week, an Ian Rappaport tweet confirms this. Bengals coach Zach Taylor tells reporters that Joe Burrow and other big-name players will play several series on Thursday night and more in Game 2 against the Commanders. New way of doing it with eyes on starting fast. This makes sense. Understand this, Joe. We know that you don't want to get stars injured in the preseason. You can get hurt at any time. You say, man, I sent Joe Burrow out there in week 2 of the preseason, snap number 3, he went down with an ACL. That's terrible news. You never want that to happen. But there also is something to this. Preparing for a season and getting ready. Anybody who's ever played any sports, you can have all the scrimmages you want. You can have all the, intricacies in the off season. But once you get to game number 1, if you're not used to game tempo, you're going to be winded. You're not going to be ready. And hey, wait a second. I took 5 snaps in the preseason. Game number 1, Joe, I'm playing 80 snaps in the 85-degree temperatures in September. It doesn't work out. I like this approach from the Bengals. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I like it too, but from a betting perspective, it means absolutely nothing. Zach Taylor is 3-12 straight up and 0-5 straight up over the last 2 years in the preseason here. It's great that you're going to give the starters, some reps early on, but the reality is from a betting perspective, Donnie, those guys aren't going to have any impact on who wins or covers the game when it's all said and done. It's who comes in after that, especially in the second half, where games are going to be decided and bet and tickets are going to be cashed. So I think it's good, but you're still just 3-12 straight up and 0-5 over the last 2 years, Zach Taylor. Ultimately, the second halves mean absolutely nothing to the Cincinnati Bengals.
I mean, you don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball. Now, granted, we added 16 games to 17 because the statistics, Joe, always were. You go 0-2, everybody's getting fired because you are not making the playoffs. Now, with the 17th game, it's a little bit more leeway. But nobody likes, the pressure in the building. Do you know what's fantastic? Opening up 3-0. It's like, whoa, what a season. This could be our year. You open up 0-2, you don't even want to go to work on that Monday showing up because of how much pressure is in that building. The owner is always going to make his money. The general manager, the front office, the starting quarterback, the running back, the guys that want to make more money. You are on the chopping block immediately because once you go 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, the season is already over. I don't care that you have 17, 18 weeks to try to make it up at this point. So I like this approach saying, boy, if we can just go 1-1 out of the gate, as opposed to what we've been doing, that would seem like a miracle. Now, also, they're going to play Thursday in Philadelphia. Is there going to be a referendum that they need to beat the Eagles 17-0 in the first quarter because Joe Burrow and the starters are out there? No, it just means preparing for the game, going through your normal mental workout before you even take the field, taking a couple snaps, being in the huddle with the boys during a normal game, running a couple plays, a couple out passes, a couple deep shots here. Just get those vibes going for the regular season as opposed to, oh, wait, opening day is here. Well, I'm not used to this. We haven't done this since last year. They're all dress rehearsals, Joe. Just use them. You see the stat that we just posted up there. The worst starting team, it feels like, in the NFL is the Bengals. There's no excuse for that.
Well, and listen, the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same things and expect a different outcome. You're not playing anybody in the preseason. Your record indicates that you don't care about these quote unquote meaningless games. And yet look at those starts. On the flip side, there's 2 other teams in that division, Donnie, that, you know what? They take the preseason seriously.
Yes.
One guy's named John Harbaugh, who's 45-16 straight up in the preseason. The other guy is Mike Tomlin, who's 40-27 in the preseason. Yes. And they always seem to start the season off well and finish it well. And I don't hear their seasons being ruined because they don't care about meaningless football. It makes no sense to me. Do what other successful teams do. It's not that hard to figure out.
No, it's not. And you're not asking them to throw 50 times in a preseason game. You're just asking them to say, okay, put the starters out there and understand this as well. Injuries happen in the NFL. Nobody wants it in the preseason game. Nobody wants it in week number 4. Nobody wants it in week 17. We understand that. But you certainly have to prepare for the regular season to be on point in the regular season. We understand, Joe, they work out all season long. This isn't the 1960s, but you still need those game reps here and those mental reps before the season starts. Maybe things change for the Bengals and things are on the up and up, but I like this move by Coach Zach Taylor. Buy or sell, people. Some of our favorite segments here in the NFL. We're going to do that next, right here on the Early Line.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
It's becoming just harder in general to do business from a money standpoint in general, let alone the competition. So yeah, Betfred closing up shop will be gone by tomorrow. We'll see if any sportsbook fills this void. It'll mean that there's a license up for grabs in Pennsylvania, which is one of the biggest states for sports betting and is home to a lot of other operators. At this point, we're getting to a time when no one's rushing into the market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. I'm going to say that again. Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. I mean, that's noteworthy because Luka Doncic was seemingly traded away from Dallas because the Mavericks weren't sure if he was ever going to get in shape enough to deliver on his full potential.
Game time decisions, only on
Joe Ranieri, let's get the hard topics out of the way. I'm going to ask you a quiz question to see if you're updated on your NFL knowledge and if you're up to maybe a couple buy or sell questions. So I'm going to ask you this. Can you name the 4 teams in the NFC South? We'll start there. Make it easy. What are those teams?
All right. The NFC South, I would believe, and they are all terrible in a whole lot of different ways here. So we're talking about the Falcons. We're talking about the New Orleans Saints. We're talking about Carolina, and we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is that about right?
That is right. And that's why I wanted to ask you that question first, because when you say the teams, okay, the NFC South, it's a division, it's going to be tough to win. But I wanted us to say the teams out loud. Let's remove Tampa Bay. We're going to talk about them in a second. The Falcons, scary team for you, Joe, in the NFL? Like, whoa, watch out for the Falcons?
To me, the jury is still out there because I'm not sure Penix Jr., what do you get in his sophomore year? Is it a step back? Is Kirk Cousins even going to be on the team by the time, week 3 or 4? Is he going to be traded? What? There's a lot of question marks with the Atlanta Falcons, and a lot of it also stems around that coaching staff.
Carolina Panthers around the NFL. Whoa, you better not play the Panthers, man. Is that a feeling around the NFL right now?
I don't think anybody has felt that in a very long time, but I can tell you this, you got to love last season when it finally felt like it started to click for Bryce Young there at the end. It was an awful start to the season, but he finished it up pretty well. That was a pretty competitive team there down the stretch. I give that coaching staff a lot of credit. Can you build off it is the question this year. You're in the right division to be better than you were a year ago. We'll see if they can make it happen.
And the final question, New Orleans Saints. Remember, like, you used to look at the schedule and be like, oh, no, man. Eagles got to go play the Saints in the Dome on a primetime game. You could probably chalk that up as a loss. Anybody saying they don't want to go play in the Dome? I think the rest of the NFL is like, put us every single game against the Saints in the Dome, Joe. Is that true?
Yeah. A pretty feared place to go and play, right? But it has not been that in a very, very, very long time. I truly believe it's going to be it's tankathon for the Saints this year. If you're going to throw out, Spencer Rattler as your quarterback, there you go. Enjoy yourself.
Rattler?
Yes, let me know.
Big time down there. Run Alvin Kamara into a brick wall. We'll find it out. But the question we're going to ask here on Buy or Sell, doesn't have to really deal with those three teams. It really deals with the Buccaneers, but the effect is on those other three teams and what can happen. So if we take a look at the Buccaneers, right? 2021, 13-4. 2022, 8-9. 2023, 9-8. 2024, 10-7. You might look at that yourself and say, all right, well, one of those years, yeah, probably 2021, they won the division, but the rest of the years were pretty average. No, Joe, they won the division every single year I just told you. It shows how bad this division is. So buy or sell. The Buccaneers are just going to win another division championship this year, which will be their 5th straight.
Listen, the best of the rest, right? If it ain't broke, why fix it? And we just talked about 3 other teams in this division, Donnie, in which... Yeah, no, they don't have the same weapons that Baker Mayfield and the Bucs do. I mean, there is another new offensive coordinator this year. Keep that in mind. That will be also Baker Mayfield's, I believe, 8th different offensive coordinator in 8 seasons, if you can believe that. But you got Mike Evans back. Godwin will be back. Jalen McMillan is back. They got a running game. They are always going to be good on the defensive side with Todd Bowles there, bringing up a lot of young guys. So, yeah, to me, this is, are they world beaters? No, I don't think anybody's picking Tampa to upend your Philadelphia Eagles anytime soon. But
yeah,
they are more than capable and have plenty enough talent to be able to once again sit atop that division.
No doubt about it. And you take a look again at the division. It's not so much about how good are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Joe. It's really how good is the rest of that division. But if it's not broken, right, why are you going to fix it at this point? General Manager Jason Licht, he's thinking of a good thing. I got a Super Bowl trophy when Tom Brady was here. We keep winning divisions. That's all you can ask for. Now, granted, do you want to win more games in the playoffs? Yes. Do you want to go in deeper playoff runs? Absolutely. But you do have to give them credit for saying we're hiring the right offensive coordinators. We brought in Baker Mayfield when nobody else really wanted him, and here we go. And also, what is their MO? Baker is a swashbuckler back there, quarterback. We have a decent offensive line. Every year we give him 3 legitimate wide receivers that he can use. Evans, Egbuka you draft out of Ohio State high. Godwin's coming back here from injury. Also a couple capable running backs that he's done very well and successful in drafting those guys. So the sky is the limit for me by saying, yes, they can win the division, which when you win the division, Joe, means you get a home game. Now, did that work to their advantage last year? No, it didn't. But sooner than later, the home games are going to pay off. I have really high expectations for the Buccaneers in that division. And then again, on winning a playoff round, because you will be at home as long as you stay healthy. Todd Bowles, do I love him as head coach? No. But you know what I love him as? A defensive coordinator. If they can, again, replace an offensive coordinator in Liam Cohen that left for Jacksonville, why can't we trust the Buccaneers? This should be one of the easiest buys you can have on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a division that says, well, Penix is really going to have to step up. Carolina's going to have to take a monster step forward, and we don't even know what New Orleans actually is trying to do this year with a team total of 4.5.
Well, they're trying to lay down, and they have their eyes on maybe a quarterback in the draft next season. But the schedule is also pretty favorable as well, Donnie. If you look at it, the Bucs, I believe, over the final 6 or 7 weeks of the season, I don't think they leave the state of Florida, but maybe once.
Yeah.
So they are going to end the season with a lot of home opportunities, not a whole lot of travel there. They do have the Texans, they do have the Lions, but both of those games are going to be on the road. This definitely sets up as a double-digit winning season. If that offense stays healthy, I know they're younger, they're more athletic, they're going to be better against the pass in the secondary with Todd Bowles this year. I like the chances of the Bucs winning double-digit games here.
And also double-digit wins, which, again, would mean the division championship and a chance to be at home, and how hard those schedules are right now, particularly for the NFC East. You might get an 11-win Buccaneers team, and I'm being honest, a 10-win NFC East champion, which means you would get the bye week chance over the NFC East if it comes down to that. But if we do look at the odds market, let's just say to win the NFC, the Eagles are a plus 360. Detroit's a plus 550. The Niners are plus 850. The Packers are plus 900. We're still going here, Joe. The Rams, a 10-1 price. The Commanders, a 10-1 price. The Vikings, The Vikings are a 10-1 price over the Buccaneers at 13-1. I'm telling you right now, the Vikings aren't winning their division. So you're telling me right now the Vikings will be a better bet than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I'm not buying that, Joe.
No. I mean, listen, again, you've got Baker Mayfield, who we all know is time to time is certainly going to throw the ball to the other team. But he also threw for over 4,500 yards last season. And it's not like this OC doesn't know him because I believe he was the passing game coordinator last year with Liam Cohen. So I think this is all signs point up. I am buying the Tampa Bay Bucks here to not only and having Bucky Irving back as well. I think all of it lines up to 10, 11 wins, and going to be real interesting here towards the end of the season to see where they might land in a postseason game and against two. And do we really want to come to Florida and play in that spot? I like Tampa's chances here.
You know what's interesting, Joe? Because we always talk about also how we bet the season and set it up. Like we're telling you right now, we like the Buccaneers to win that division. The price point is going to be high to start the season because most people's expectations are they are going to win it. But hear me out on this, Joe. It might not be a bad idea. How about this? Lose to the Falcons, game number 1 on the road. It's always tough to win on the road, specifically in division. Lose game 2 to the Texans. Very good opponent. That's on the road. Beat the Jets at home. The Eagles then come to town and you lose to them. Now you're 1-3 at that point. Are we talking about maybe getting an awesome price on the Buccaneers, knowing nobody's going to run away with that division outside of Tampa Bay if they start the season 3-1? Do we just wait on the Buccaneers till week 4 or 5 and go, now's the time to press it when the price point might be way better than what you're getting now?
Yeah, it could, but they also could just run the table. This was one of the best red zone offenses and third down offenses last year. I don't think that changes.
Let's talk Falcons. Joe loves Kirk Cousins, but should he be on that roster? We'll find out next right here on the Early Line.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Becoming just harder in general to do business from a money standpoint in general, let alone the competition. So yeah, Betfred closing up shop will be gone by tomorrow. We'll see if any sportsbook fills this void. It'll mean that there's a license up for grabs in Pennsylvania, which is one of the biggest states for sports betting and is home to a lot of other operators. At this point, we're getting to a time when no one's rushing into the market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. Let me say that again. Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. I mean, that's noteworthy because Luka Doncic was seemingly traded away from Dallas because the Mavericks weren't sure if he was ever going to get in shape enough to deliver on his full potential.
Game time decisions only on
I'm digging the Falcons a little bit this year. And if we take a look from an NFC South perspective, I do think they're the second best team in that division behind Tampa Bay. If they play good football and stay injury-free, they added some components to the defense. Maybe Raheem Morris catches a clue and learns how to coach on the sideline. This team might be able to do some damage. The talent is there where they can win this division. We just haven't seen it over the past couple of years actually work its way onto the field. They also made a major move just an off season ago to say, whoa, Kirk Cousins, welcome down, big contract. And by the way, we're going to draft your replacement right off the bat, which never made any sense. It still doesn't make any sense right now. Kirk Cousins is still on that roster, which doesn't make any sense now. So let me ask you this question, Joe, on a buy or sell. The Falcons need to get rid of Kirk Cousins off the roster by any means necessary?
Well, they can't. I mean, that's the problem because they're saddled with a 4-year, $180 million deal that didn't allow them to any wiggle room to add anything of value in the offseason here, Donnie. I mean, they went defense. They drafted defense this year in the NFL draft. But, what you see is what you get here because you have a quarterback who's not even playing that has all of this salary cap issue going on with him. He is the ultimate safety net because you still have a young quarterback going into his sophomore year. You're still not sure, is he any good? Is he not any good? The numbers were up and down last year. Kirk Cousins is the perfect safety net unless another team's quarterback gets hurt over the next couple of weeks, Donnie, and then the phone starts ringing. And then we'll see, and I'm sure somebody in the front office of Atlanta is going, well, if that happens, our asking price could be pretty good, and we might be able to get out from under this contract we gave him.
Yeah, you know what would have been better? Just don't sign Kirk Cousins. Draft Michael Penix Jr., have $50+ million to spend on a cornerback, another defensive end, another wide receiver, and what have you. So this organization, we always remember, Joe, right? Draft best case scenario here. If Michael Penix never plays, that means it was a great signing. I'm saying, what? Or if Kirk Cousins is so bad we paid him all that money, we have Michael Penix. What? None of that made any sense, and you couldn't sell that to anybody, and here we are. But I think you're right about this. If there's one quarterback or one personality that can say, I'm getting all of this money, and I won't be a distraction, and I'll put my best foot forward every single day, it's Kirk Cousins. You tell most people that are expected starters in the NFL who were brought to town on a promise they would start and get paid a lot of money to do that, and then get shoved into the corner by saying, we'll just play it off as you're not healthy, and we know you tried to fight through your injury, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to play. Kirk Cousins is that one guy. And if you are Raheem Morris, Michael Penix doesn't work out, or week number 3, he goes down with a knee injury. Not like he hasn't gone down with a knee injury before in his career. He's been known to have injuries. That you could bring in Kirk Cousins and salvage your season and win football games and try to make the playoffs, that's not a bad option. They should have never signed Kirk Cousins, but now that they have him, they should have gotten rid of him here in the offseason. They couldn't do that. You're not just going to cut bait, eat that salary cap, get nothing back when you go, well, wait a second. We're 1-4. Michael Penix is playing poorly and injured. Oh, it would have been nice to have Kirk Cousins come in and try to right the ship for you. So for me, I don't think it. So I'll sell that. You can't get rid of him at all costs now. You should have been thinking about that in February, in March, in April, in May, and in June. It's too late now for me, Joe.
It's way too late. I mean, that ship has sailed. The minute that they made the change last year, that was it. And quite honestly, I don't blame Kirk Cousins for what happened there last year. I am not a big fan of Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator, in any way, shape, or form. I don't like his play calling. I don't like his offense. I don't think he put Kirk Cousins in a position to succeed or utilized what he's been really good at his entire career. So, yeah, I think they're in trouble here, Atlanta, especially on the defensive sgoing they spent, 3 or 4 draft picks right off the top on the defensive side, even in free agency. But they're going to play the AFC East, I believe, is on the schedule this year with them. They have a bye week 5. They're going to Berlin in week 9, and they're not coming out of that with a bye. They'll have already had it in week 5. So I don't like the coaching staff, and I don't like the way the schedule sets up for them.
It'll be interesting, too, because I always, there's 2 parts of the schedule we usually look at, right? Number one, you want to find out where the bye week is. We always understand that. But can we start fast? But if we need to close strong, can we do that? I got 3 of the 4 games on the road against my toughest opponents. If we're fighting for a playoff spot, we're probably not going to make it. Game number 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is we think Tampa's going to win that division. That's a winnable game, though. Yeah. At home, healthy, crowd's going to be loud. That's a tough environment to play in. On the road against Minnesota, we don't know what J.J. McCarthy is. Game number 3 at the Panthers. Yes, it's a road game in the division, but it's the Carolina Panthers, then home to the Washington Commanders, and then you get a bye week. You have to figure you need to be at least 2-2 before you hit that bye and sort of have a takeoff. But also, let me ask you this. Is there a point in the season where Michael Penix, Joe, is not injured, but just not playing well, and they go to Kirk Cousins? That can't happen, right? That's never going to happen, is it?
Listen, a lot of this is going to depend on how many games are these teams winning. You know, and I know that the pressure is going to be on. If all of a sudden Penix is not getting it, he has that sophomore slump. We saw a sophomore slump last year, didn't we, in Houston with a young quarterback? Could very well happen here again. Only the difference is he is not surrounded, I think, on both sides of the ball or on the sidelines with the coaching staff like they are in Houston. So this could go from bad to worse, but if they're winning games, it won't really matter, right? If he's going to have his ups and downs, which, Donnie, how is he not going to have the ups and downs here? So, expect there to be some issues. They will have to be desperate to go to Kirk Cousins, which means they must feel at some point that going to Kirk Cousins gives them an opportunity to make the postseason.
Also understand this, too. We're not getting a blind look at him, right? Like J.J. McCarthy, we expect good things from him, but we haven't seen him play in the NFL, and you got to make those adjustments. Penix does have some game NFL action. Penix went through this entire offseason as the quote-unquote starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. So it's not as if he's just getting thrown in week number one like, oh, my goodness, we can't handle this. I've never seen this before. So he should be able to hit the ground running and find out how that plays out. But it is interesting. And kudos. You get paid to play a position. Kirk Cousins get paid a lot of money in the NFL and played his cards exactly correct. We'll see if he winds up elsewhere. You know what would be interesting? Like Brock Purdy goes down for San Francisco and Kirk Cousins is healthy. There can be places to move him if that is available. More talk next. Buy or sell. We love these segments. Come on back with us on the line. We don't care where you were drafted. You outperform somebody, you're going to be on that football field. Now, again, there are extenuating circumstances where you draft a quarterback number 3 overall. Yeah, they're going to try him out for the next 3 to 4 years, even if he's not as good as anybody on that roster. But from Shadur's perspective, that's probably the case. Tyler Huntley, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of names on that list, not a lot of good names on that list, so he can earn a job on this football team.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Edge rushers. That's where it is right now. And I think Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. I think TJ Watt's right there. I think Micah Parsons is right there. Certainly, those guys are very, very good. Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. He just absolutely is. When the advanced stats about the double team rate, his quarterback pressure rate, all of that, he just stands a notch. I don't want to say a big gap, but he stands a notch ahead of those guys.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
It was already pretty solid up top, but you had the bottom that's that much better with Ryan O'Hearn and Lariano. Like, we now have a well-rounded lineup on top of a great pitching staff. Michael King is expected to start making his rehab starts. So you have him plus Pavetta plus Dylan Cease. You Darvish is back. You have the frontline pitching, the depth in the lineup, and now a great bullpen. You have it all.
I really like it. Like I do. Like sometimes I get caught up in the Padres because of what they can be.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Those pesky Atlanta Falcons. But we talked about a couple teams so far here in the NFC South. We do think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are best seeded here to win another NFC South championship. And then you feel like the Atlanta Falcons might be on their toes. And then there's the other teams in that division, and we're going to start with the Saints. It's a proud franchise. It has a Super Bowl trophy. It has one of the more iconic venues in the sports landscape, being the Superdome. Caesars Superdome now is what it's called. The Super Bowl last year, the SportsGrid Network, we were down there. I got my first glimpse in the first time in my history seeing the Superdome, be like, man, This is where all those amazing games were played and how loud that place can be. A party city on a Thursday night, on a Sunday night, on a Monday night, in a playoff game, or to host a Super Bowl. It's a wonderful place. But the Saints are going to be going through some trying times right now. And I don't even know, Joe, if they got their franchise quarterback in the draft and Tyler Shuck. Like, is that going to be the guy that's going to lead them into the next millennium, if you will? But the question here is, it's not exactly will they win the Super Bowl? Can they win the division? Buy or sell Joe Ranieri, the Saints will be the worst team in the NFL this season.
Well, I don't necessarily blame them for the situation that they're in right now, because I'm fairly certain when Kellen Moore took the job that he thought Derek Carr was going to be his quarterback. And I guarantee you, Donnie, it would have been a much more competitive division had he not retired. But the minute he retired, I mean, there isn't a quarterback on this roster right now that won a game. Derek Carr was the only one that won a game. The quarterbacks currently on the roster that were there a year ago had more interceptions than they did touchdown passes. They've got a lot to look forward to in the future. The offensive line, a lot of very young guys that had a lot of experience last year. They are going to get their next quarterback, or try to get their next quarterback next year in the draft. But I don't see how this is going to work. 4.5 wins. Yeah, no, there is some turnover here, but like any other franchise, it comes a time. You'd have been good. You'd have been all right with Derek Carr when he retired. It's all about looking to the future now for the New Orleans Saints.
The interesting part about this question is, it's like, will the Saints be the worst team in the NFL? I think if you're coming into the season, Joe, on paper, they are the worst team in the NFL, but you are judged by how many wins that you can get. And you might say, well, Donnie, what do you mean? They're 4.5 is their total. Like, how many can they have? But also the Cleveland Browns are listed at 4.5. That's a product of your environment. Like, look at the Saints, one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. They don't have a ton of talent, but they do have some talent. And also it's an easier schedule that they play. You look at the Cleveland Browns going like, yeah, we're 4.5, but Steelers in our division, Ravens in our division, Cincinnati. I mean, come on now. They're getting to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which are a good football team, not the best. Yeah, you're going to get to play the Atlanta Falcons. We think they could probably be over 500. The Carolina Panthers, who we don't know what they're going to be with Bryce Young at quarterback. So it's hard to answer that question, because if I say the worst team in the NFL just based on what I think is the eye test, I do think they're the worst team in the NFL. But based on the record at the end of the year, they might be able to get 5 wins, which probably won't be the worst team, Joe, in the NFL. Look at the New York Giants. Like, the Giants have talent. Their schedule looks like they might not even score a touchdown in any game they play, how hard it is. But the Giants would wipe the floor with the Saints, if you ask me.
I agree. And I mean, well, look at how the problem is the schedule does not favor them. I mean, look at that. You got 3 games against the NFC West, and then you got to go to Buffalo. Like, you got to go from Seattle, come home, and then you got to go to Buffalo. Not good here. I mean, they're staring 0-4 in the face here, Donnie. And then, you're going to have a division game, and there's no guarantee that you're going to win that one against Carolina anyway. So I think this could be a very, very rough year. Transition, right? Is that what they get said? Transitional year, I think is what they say it is, Donnie. Or tank, you can use that word too. But yes, wins are going to be hard to come by here for the Saints.
No, they certainly are going to become hard to come by for the Saints. Tyler Shuck, I guess we always say this too. You get a rookie quarterback, what's the best that you hope for? The team probably stinks. You get a high draft pick, but the quarterback showed some promise, and Kellen Moore's a new coach. They'll build this thing together. That's what the hopes would be for the Saints right now, not to actually win football games. So like my Philadelphia 76ers so many years, just keep on tanking here. Eventually things you hope will get better. That win total 4.5 to become last in the division, a -130 price, miss the playoffs at a -1600, make the playoffs at a +820. That lets you know exactly what we think about the New Orleans Saints. Not a lot of good things here. And again, an iconic franchise in an iconic city, not really going to have an iconic season unless they pull a Detroit Lions and go, hey, you know what? What's wrong with going 0-17 on the season? Maybe we get Arch Manning next year. Another Manning in the city of New Orleans, which happened, 40, 50 years ago with Arch? Going to come back there for Archie Manning? How about that, people? Hour number 2 is coming up next. More Buy or Sell topics next.